That old world charm, doo-doo-doo-doo. That old world charm, reviews say it's alright.
G'day, my lovelies, and welcome to this old world. Welcome to another episode of Old World Charm, episode 42. I'm joined by the full triumvirate to review this penultimate Arcane Journal that is coming out for you lovingly on this Saturday, or, you know, pre-orders up, NDAs are up, all that good stuff. I'm joined by the full trio. Peter the Falcon, hello, mate.
Kaka.
Indeed. Kaka, indeed. Hello. And Danny McDevitt, hey, mate.
A weighty caca from the Falcon, apparently.
That's true.
Yes.
It's a deep, loving caca for all of our babies.
From the deep woods that from this faction hails. And we're going to be reviewing the Wood Elf Arcane Journal. We are one Arcane Journal away from having all the supported factions having their Arcane Journals, and then we can get to meddling. We, the community, we can get to meddling, maybe making some Arcane Journals of our own, or we'll see what Games Workshop in their infinite wisdom has in store for this game now that it is technically, according to them, completed. Having all the Arcane Journals out, you know, can we please have a GT pack? Thanks very much, and maybe a balance pass, because no, these factions are not created equal, and you will see as we go through this Arcane Journal just why. But hot takes times, boys. And before we do that, little preamble, of course, that old world charm. You know, this is a two-part podcast. First part comes out lovingly curated by the beautiful tech priest Dickie, Skin Priest Dickie, and this one will be coming out alongside the NDA being up Saturday morning. And yeah, then we're going to have a part two. We're going to be dissecting the builds from this Arcane Journal, how they shape up, what are some interesting matchups, and what we would do if we were taking something from this Arcane Journal or the Grand Army with this Arcane Journal in tow to a GT this weekend, yada, yada, yada. So come and join us over on Patreon. You can also get us into that beautiful Discord that is that old world charm over on Patreon. Hope you'll join us there. Time for some hibbity hot takes, boys. Danny, having gone through this Arcane Journal recently, mate, what are your off-the-cuff hot takes?
All right. My first question is, why is Games Workshop so afraid of making elves good?
Yeah. What is happening?
I hate to leave it off that way, right?
Why can't they even be mediocre? I would accept mediocre.
So you're saying that both the High Elf and Wood Elf Arcane Journals are pretty mid?
Okay, it's not that, right? Like, it's more. I mean, they are, but like it's more that the armies of infamy in here are like just not very cool, and it's the same problem that High Elves have, and Empire, I feel like, too, to a degree. Just these aren't like exciting new rules. Now, the magic items do give you some nice boost for the Grand Army in general, but the new units are like okay at best. Like they're
that's a stretch, I think.
The special characters are cool, I would say.
One of the special characters,
one of them is cool.
Is very cool.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
So the magic lore. A+.
Oh, yes.
Maybe the best one in the game.
Maybe the best.
I think that's a stretch, but it's especially in the current meta, it might actually be the best one in the game.
Yeah.
If the meta changes, no, but it's quite good.
Yeah. It's very good. So I will say, like, the Wood Elf the High Elf Arcane Journal, the best thing it gave you was new units. Was the Woodsman was the kind of the best thing that Arcane Journal had to offer. That and a couple of decent magic items. This one has a little bit more. Like, I feel like this is. See, I don't want to say this is better than the High Elf one, because the High Elf one, I think, is working with better innate units rather than this one, which is working with, I guess, I mean, what are they going to do? They're going to make the Glade Guard and Wild Riders better again? They'll still have all the same downfalls. So what are you going to give them? You're going to give them like a better ward save in this, and then they'll be broken. So I think they just this is a case of they've written Wood Elves into such a small pigeonhole of what they're allowed to do in a game that they just don't have very far to maneuver. And I think this Arcane Journal suffers because of that. What do you reckon about that, Falcon?
I think that's a good take. I think that they kind of, it seems like they really want you to run like MSU builds, which worked at the beginning of the edition, especially when Sisters of the Thorn were busted. But like there is this whole section that they're ignoring, and they continue to ignore in this book, which is they've got fucking tree spirit shit. and tree spirits are cool as fuck. And they get like one special rule in a terrible army of infamy. Arguably, in my opinion, as it stands, the worst army of infamy. They might be fighting with Lothern Seaguard over that, but like at least Lothern is like thematically cool. I find this one is not even that.
And I would even say Seaguard at least has like some tricks.
Seaguard has some tricks. They also have the Merworm, which is, even though it's overcosted, looks badass.
It's
like
still
Seaguard
better
to
than
me,
the Tree Man, dude.
It's true. And like Seaguard, like from a hobby's perspective, like is thematic and cool. Even Crace or Trace is like thematically cool looking. It also has the power of being still able to take a fucking Star Dragon.
Sure.
But like this, anyway, we're gonna get into it. I'm really disappointed with this book, other than the magic lore and one of the characters, I would say. So,
the right character, the correct character.
The correct character to be good is good. I would say that.
Yeah. We're going to start in this review on page 28. This is Orion's Wild Hunt Army of Infamy. Anybody following us along in post would like to come along. The Army of Infamy composition list is 0-1 Glade Lord per 1,000 points, 0-1 Shadow Dancers, Spell Singers, Waste Stalkers per 1,000 points, and Glade Captains. Your core is 0-1 units of Wild Riders per 1,000 points. So you can have 2 units of Wild Riders to fill out your core. And then, of course, ubiquitous Glade Riders. Everything's supposed to be mounted in this one, as you can tell already. Special is 0-1 units of Sisters of the Thorn per 1,000 points, War Dancers, Warhawk Riders, Wild Riders, and Wood Elf Beast Packs, which is a brand new unit. We'll get to it when we get to it. And then rare is 0-1 units of Way Watchers per Way Stalker taken, 0-3 Great Eagles per 1,000 points. So you can still have 6 Great Eagles, and Deepwood Scouts, Wildwood Rangers. And of course, you can make your BSB out of a Glade Captain should you wish. Danny, my boy, what is missing from this, and is this any good?
So you're missing Glade Guard, right? And Eternal Guard. And Forest Spirits.
And casters.
And level forecasters.
Yeah, of course.
Any variety.
Sorry. Of course, yes. The most important thing as well, you're missing a level forecaster. So
well done. So this build is obviously pushing you into just go fasty, everything be mounted. At least this feels very Wood Elfy, but let's see if these special rules hold up. Peter, take us away with the first one.
Okay, so if you decide to take this army and lose the benefits of character selection, you get the Chieftains of the Hunter King special rule, which allows any Wood Elf noble that you take in this list, so Glade Lords or Glade Captains, to get the Talismanic Tattoo special rule for 10 points per model. So they get a 6+ ward save for 10 points instead of the normal, like 15. It's not terrible. It's a little discount. You get the Spirit of Kurnoos. The restless nature and devastating power of the Lord of the Hunt flows through the Azrai as they race off in search of their quarry. And this lets you take up to 1 unit of Glade Riders, Warhawk Riders, or Wood Elf Beast Packs per 1,000 points and give them Furious Charge and Impetuous for 10 points per unit. Honestly, I get that they want to be thematic, but why? Just give them Furious Charge for 10 points. We don't need Impetuous. Like this list didn't need a nerf to a slightly okay ability. I will say Glade Riders with Furious Charge, pretty good.
They are legitimately pretty good.
But so Impetuous on them, not.
Yeah, you do not want to have a huge portion of a Wood Elf army susceptible to Impetuous every turn and have your opponent bait that out every turn and just see, wait, use their chaff to pull you in the middle and just kill you. So, I mean, I would, funnily enough, I really hate this. I'm paying 10 points for an upside and a downside. I shouldn't be paying any points for that upside if I've got a downside. I would pay 10 points to have Impetuous removed from several of my units. And it annoys me. But Peter, continue. Give us the last one, and then Danny, give us your thoughts.
And the last special rule, the worthy of Kurnoos, the wild hunt ever searches for large and dangerous prey, trophies worthy of Kurnoos himself. After deployment, but before the first turn begins, you can pick a single enemy character or a single enemy model whose troop type is monster. This model has been marked by the Wild Hunt as a trophy, All models within a friendly Orion's Wild Hunt army may re-roll hit rolls of 1 in shooting and in close combat against this unit. In addition, if you manage to slay this unit or it is fleeing or has fled the battlefield by the end of the game, you are given an additional 100 victory points.
That one's not bad because, of course, you're literally just going to point at their dragon and be like, cool, at least I'm a little bit better against you. And so that doesn't seem like the worst thing in the world. But Danny, wrap it all up for us. How does this whole package come together if it does?
All right. So in addition to the things you see here, there's also 2 magic items that are keyed off to this. But believe me when I say that shouldn't be a deciding factor in whether you decide to build your army under this very thematic list. I don't think it's competitive because no level 4 is a huge downside. This army is fast enough that you can engage wizards pretty quickly, but I don't think that it's enough. And this doesn't do anything like more meaningfully better than like a grand army could do for Wood Elves. So I don't think it's a great choice. You're not getting any like real benefits here, like limiting your core. Glade Riders are a great unit. Like, don't get me wrong. But limiting your core to just Glade Riders and Wild Riders, I really don't like that. And you're missing out on anything with any durability in this list too. So it's going to be like all MSU, and I don't think that's great. I just, it's very thematic and run it for that, but don't run it to, it's not a competitive list.
Don't try to win a tournament with this. I don't think. Maybe someone will prove us wrong. But if you
hope so.
It was probably like an 8-man tournament and everyone had never played a game before but you.
So like, yeah. Off the cuff, I was like, okay, cool. I'll take 4x. I'll just try it to be MSU melee rather than be MSU shooting, which is what I kind of see the Grand Army's MSU shooting with a big old defensive beat stick being in a Dragon Lord. That'll kind of be the deterrent for people trying to corral and pressure you and make them pay. This I see is flipped on its head and be like, well, I'm going to be MSU melee. I'm going to take like 4x5 Wild Riders, 2 decent sized unit of Glade Guards, with the Furious Charge and Impetuous, and I'm just going to freaking go, yeah. I'm just going to go, yeah. And then I've got 6 Great Eagles kind of to corral my own Impetuous units and or play redirect to get me to the right things. That seems good, like on paper. And then you realize the biggest defense that Wood Elves actually have, their biggest defensive asset in their entire freaking army is their level 4. Because you need the level 4 to stop a Ruby Ring killing 1 unit a turn every turn for the 6 turns of the game. And you do not have that. You really do not have that. You have a level 2 and your opponent's just going to be like, well, I've got this Goblin Chieftain who's going to sit outside 18 inches and kill a unit of Wild Riders a turn because he's got the freaking Ruby Ring. And you realize you've lost your biggest defensive asset. And it's a real big concern for me that they just sit back and you just die. You just freaking die. And your units are expensive. They're expensive units now.
Yeah, I agree. I think so there is a way you can play this list and win games, and it's not fun. But you do take your
Death Star right here.
No, you don't even do a Death Star. No. So you rely on this is to me in a competitive event. This is an 11-9 army. You're not going for big wins, so that you can't take this to a battle points event. But you take 2 decent sized units of Glade Riders with poison bows. You take a bunch of, maybe you take a big unit of Deepwood Scouts with poison bows. You take your Dragon Lord, maybe 2 Dragon Lords because you have no wizards to take anyway. And then all you do is you pick your opponent's cheapest monster, whatever it happens to be, like a gigantic Chaos Spawn or something. You kill it for its like 300 points because you get that extra 100 points. And then you just run away for the rest of the game. You move 18 inches over and over again. And that's your game plan, is use evasive and you just it's the most bullshit way to play. But it's not how the army's probably themed to play. But that's probably how you're going to pull out games, is you're just going to pick off a monster or a character and then flee for your life. And hope nothing in your opponent's list can catch you.
That means not taking any impetuous because then you just get back.
So you don't pay for the upgrade. You just put two big units of Glade Riders with reserve move, poison arrows, maybe one of the the quick shot banner we'll talk about later or something, and then you have like double dragon Glade Lords with evasive, and that's like your list, and it probably will win some games.
Yeesh. Okay, moving on. Host of Talzin is the next of the Armies of Infamy. This one is weird and disappointing. Characters is 0-1 Glade Lords or Spellweavers per 1,000 points, 0-1 Treeman Ancients per 1,000 points, 0-1 Warden of Talzin new unit per 1,000 points, 0-1 War Dancers per unit of war. Sorry, Shadow Dancers per units of War Dancers taken, Glade Captain, Spell Singers, and Branch Waits as you please. Core is 1+ unit of Eternal Guard. Dryads 0-1 unit of Glade Guard per 1,000 points, 0-1 unit of Deepwood Scouts may be taken as a core choice. And then special is Deepwood Scouts, Guardians of Talzin, Wildwood Rangers, Ancestors of the Thorn, and then 0-2 units of Treekin per 1,000 points. 33% of your rare can be taken as Treeman and War Dancers, or 0-3 Great Eagles. And a single Glade Captain, of course, or Warden of Talzin can be your BSB as you see. All right, so we have a lot of criticisms of this one. Danny, you want to start first?
Sure. Do you want me to talk about the special rules before we do that?
Yeah, give us all the special rules so we get all the context.
And sure. So they have 4 different special rules. The first of these is Ancient Enemies. All units within a host of Talzin gain Hatred Beastmen. Very situational. And then In Tune with Nature. In addition to the lore of magic that you normally know, Wood Elf Mages, Treeman, Ancients, and Branch Wraiths can take the Lore of the Wilds, lore of magic, which is the new lore, which we'll go over later. It's very excellent. This is a great special rule. Protectors of the Ancient Wood. While it controls a special feature, a unit with the host within a host of Talzin army may reroll any to hit rolls or wound rolls of natural 1 during the combat phase. And then Awakened Wood. Within the host of Talzin army, any number of units of Dryads or Treekin can have ambushers for 1 point per model. In addition, Treemen and Treeman Ancients can be given ambushers for 10 points. Yeah. So this is sort of disappointing with the options that you have here. Getting free access to the Lore of the Wilds is probably the best part of this army, I would say.
Easily,
Protectors of the Ancient Wood is like very, very, very situational because there's not very many terrain features that fall under the special features category. We were kind of talking about this before the episode. Peter, how many different ones are there?
I think the core rulebook has 4. There's the Arcane Monolith, the Dark Ruin, Towers, and I can't remember what the other one is, but I believe there's 4 in the core rulebook. And GW has announced like the Beastmen are getting the Herdstone. So so this list, like, it's like in the lore of this book in particular, but also the lore of the host of Talzin, like their main enemies are Beastmen. So this is very like a very thematic army, and that you're supposed to just be fighting Beastmen all the time. So yes, in those situations, you will get some bonuses around the opponent's Herdstone if you're near it. But most of the effects here, you're just never going to trigger like in a competitive environment, at least the protector's ability.
Does anybody feel like paying for ambushes on any of their Treekin-esque units? I don't particularly feel that's good either.
I could see it for denial.
Yeah, exactly. So I think there's a list here where you take your minimum unit of internal guard that you have to take, which is like 60 points. And then you put the rest of your core into Dryads and pay for them to be ambushers with the hope that they just don't come on the board until late game. And then you just save yourself 500 points. Because actually one good thing about this Army of Infamy compared to some of the other armies of Infamy is core is only 25 points. A lot of them are 33%.
Yes, that's true.
Correct.
Which
Sorry,
would have been insane for this because it's not good.
Yeah, and this does nowhere near enough for my Woody units. I want the trees to be good in this detachment, and they're just kind of not. Where's their Furious Charge? Give them Furious Charge, man, and Impetuous. That is so in keeping with what this is doing, because you're defending your groves, defending your sacred places. Surely they should be angry about that. And yeah, that kind of annoys me. They really don't get anything draft-wise.
We talked about this before the show, and I was thinking about it quite a bit in the time we've had this book. Because when I first read this, I didn't realize it said special features. So I thought it was just like terrain. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. Like my Wood Elf Forest is going to give me rerolls to ones to hit and wound. All of a sudden, like my shittier units are a little better. I was getting pretty excited about that. And then I realized there were special features. And that made me wish that there was just a special rule in this book. That was like your Wood Elf Forest that you get for free is a special feature. It would be thematic because the in the lore, the Host of Talzin protects basically the sacred secret grove.
Exactly.
It doesn't have to have any special abilities. You can just be like, it counts as a forest in every other way, but it's considered a special feature. It's an easy one-liner. And now at least you have like a little area that you can slap on the board and shove your Eternal Guard into. And really turn them on. And when we go over kindreds, there's a kindred that works with special features too that would really jazz them up. And I think it would be great. But
I'm automatically here to say that like one of the first things once the game is complete and we start tweaking with rules to maybe try and balance things out a little bit better if GW doesn't, that's the first thing I would be saying about this Wood Elf Arcane Journal. That's the first thing I would want to Val, if you're listening, add it to the list. Top of the list for Wood Elves.
And who knows? Like they've mentioned that there will probably be more arcane journals for other armies. So maybe we will see more special features and they'll just become like a standard for scenario play and things like that.
Yeah.
But like as it stands, so if you're listening to this years from now and you're like, these guys are idiots. This was the best army of infamy in the game. We didn't know. As it stands, it's garbage.
Didn't know. But yeah, this is just a worse Grand Army to me. Is as far as I can see.
Oh yeah,
it doesn't give you.
I mean, you lose Blade Riders, you lose Wild Riders.
Correct.
The characters are just more restrictive. Like the Warden of Towson is kind of an interesting BSB if you were going to take him, but he's also a lot of points.
Yeah,
there was no reason for him to be that much more than a Glade Captain. From what I've seen, he doesn't give you that much more value than a Glade Captain. But we'll get to it.
Yeah,
it's pretty good. But yeah, not that many points good. But now we get to talk about one of my absolute favorite things about Wood Elves, Orion, the King of the Wood. Let us jump into this special character. Everybody, so even people who hate elves like I do, love Orion. I adore Orion. His fluff is excellent. The model still, tickles the cockles of my cockly bits. And I'm a big fan. Big fan. All right. Orion is 455 points, dang near a quarter of your army for this bad boy. So there's up there with Cetra, and considering he's like the head of a faction, the leader of a faction, that's fair enough. Movement 9, weapon skill 8, yes. Bliss skill 6, strength 5, toughness 5, 5 wounds, initiative 8, is delicious. 5 attacks, leadership 10. The Hound of Orion is also movement 9, weapon skill 4, strength 4, toughness 4, 1 wound. Initiative 4 and 1 attack at leadership 6. He's monstrous infantry and then war beast for the Hound. He's on a 50 by 50 and the Warhound is on a 25 by 50 as well. And the unit size is 3, so of course there's 2 Hounds. I won't bother doing the equipment because we're going to go over that through all the special rules. But the special rules that Orion comes with is Fear, Frenzy, Immune to Psychology, Move Through Cover, Magic Res 2, Open Order, D3 plus 2 Stomp attacks, which is delicious, Strikes First, Terror, and Unbreakable. Unbreakable is excellent as well. And then the Hounds come with Fear, Frenzy, Immune to Psych, Magic Attacks, Move Through Cover, Open Order, Spectral Hounds, and Unbreakable. And then note that Orion and his Hounds form a single unit, which Orion cannot leave. Should this unit be reduced to a single model, it remains an open order formation. Spectral Hounds have magical attacks. Yay. And of course, here's a 2-page spread, which makes he gets my.
They can only be wounded by magical attacks.
Yeah. Oh, apologies. They're ethereal.
They're ethereal, but they didn't. So this is just so that they didn't have to like rewrite ethereal, so they can still join Orion, who isn't, but they themselves are ethereal, and it's amazing.
It is so good
because essentially 2/3 of all the hits from shooting that affect Orion go on the dogs and do nothing.
Correct.
So he effectively has a 3+ ward save against non-magical shooting, which is before his 5+ ward. It's amazing.
Superb. And then, yes, Cloak of Isha is the 5+ ward. In addition, during each of your start of turn sub-phases, roll a d6 on a 5+. Orion regains a single wound. So is that Orion himself, or can he regen the dogs?
Just him.
Yeah, that's what I figured. And then Horn of the Wild Hunt, once per game during the command subphase of his turn, Orion may sound the Horn of the Wild Hunt. If he does until the end of the turn, friendly units in Orion's command range gain the Frenzy special rule. A unit may become frenzied this way, even if it has lost Frenzy early in the game. I do like that rule. That is pretty good, but had to be built around, if at all. Yeah, whatever. Hawk's Talon is a ranged attack of 30 inches, which is strength user, which will be 5 at AP1, which is magical attacks and multiple shots D3 plus 1. And he's got BS 6, so that is pretty spice. It doesn't take too many negatives for the multiple shots.
Mm-hmm.
And then in combat, he also has his spear, which he shoots at range 18, strength plus 1, which will be 6, AP2, magical attacks and multiple wounds D3. And then in combat, he is the same profile, strength 6, AP2, multiple wounds D3, magical attacks. And the Spear of Kunos has 2 profiles representing how this weapon is used in combat. Spear looks like a spear shoots like a bolt thrower using the through and through special rule, as he always did. Danny, this is a lot of rule on this guy, on this thing. And it adds up to something pretty special. What do you think of it?
Yeah, I think he's really good. I think just making sure you can mitigate his frenzy is going to be the hardest part about using this model, or why I would take a Dragon Lord over him, because they're about the same number of points. His special rules, though, are excellent. Horn is really a really nice ability, especially since I don't know, like giving units frenzy that can't normally get frenzy is a really powerful ability, especially on like Wildwood Rangers or on like War Dancers. I know Pete was saying he did that one game and that like 5 of them had like 30 attacks, right?
Yeah, it gets like they end up at like 5 attacks each, which is incredible. Wildwood Rangers are great with it. Even like I played 2 practice games using Orion, because he does unlock some pretty cool stuff with at least in Grand Army in particular. Namely that you can take 2 level 4s plus him, since he's not considered a Glade Lord. But like even just like reactivating frenzy on either himself or a unit of Wild Riders is great. In one of my games that happened. In my first game with him, I completely forgot he had frenzy. He had to charge a giant unit of Graveguard. Lost that first round of combat because of their combat res. And then the next turn, I had moved my War Dancers up. I popped the Horn. Now my War Dancers get to charge with their like 25, 30 attacks. And Orion's got his frenzy back, as well as the dogs, and they just like tear through a unit. It's really good.
I got to say, I think Orion might be one of the best special characters in the game.
He's definitely the best. The Green Knight
at a minimum, I think he's one of the best written. The simple reason he won't be the best is because, like you said, you can take a dragon for the same points, and who's arguably faster, hits harder, etc. But yeah, I love the multimodality of him. Like the fact that he's got quality shooting against a couple of different targets. Like if you get it's Blood Knights, cool, you shoot him with the freaking the big bow. You want to clear some chaff, you can still clear some chaff as well with the D3 plus 1 eagle attacks. The skill 6 plus weapon skill 8 plus initiative 8 is just a fantastic profile. I'm really high on Orion.
Oh yeah, he's in both games I've used him, and like it's a small sample size, but he's been awesome. Really, for me, the big thing is taking 2 level 4s and still having a pretty decent combat monster. He's wonderful. Like he's not game breaking by any means. Like Danny mentioned, the dragon is still probably the better choice. But if you are looking to unlock like some kind of magic heavy list without taking a tree man ancient, which you probably shouldn't in the current meta, it's a really great way to go.
Well, that's what I meant. Like, so he's written well enough that he is a thing to consider next to a dragon.
Yeah, and he's fun. He's just fun to play.
Exactly, but he's not so overpowered. He's an auto take in every list.
If they had given him Skirmisher instead of Open Order, he'd be busted.
Busted. For sure. All right. Danny, tell us about Araloth.
So Araloth is the Lord of Taliesin. So he's kind of tries to play into that like whole theme. He's a Wood Elf Lord, a Glade Lord. He's got the same stats as a Glade Lord, except he's weapon skill 8 and initiative 8 instead of, I think they're initiative 6. Yeah. So he's got +2 initiative, but he's got strikes first, just like a normal Glade Lord. So anyway, he's got heavy armor, shield, and the Spear of Towson. He's got specials are boldest of the bold, evasive, favor of the goddess, move through cover, rallying cry, Scarin the Eye Thief, strike first, and stubborn. So boldest of the bold is he ignores all negative modifiers to his leadership characteristic, which is leadership 10. That's great.
So ignores terror pretty much is the one that comes the most.
And screams helps him.
And
It helps him
screams.
quite a bit. Yeah.
Yep.
He's got favor of the goddess, which is a 5+ ward save against any wound suffered, and then Scarin the Scar Thief, which is his hawk. During the command subphase of his turn, Erloth may attempt to dispatch Scarin to strike from the skies by rolling a d6 on a 1. He doesn't do anything. He flies away. He eats a bird. Who knows? That's 1 or 2. Sorry. On a 3+, he descends from the sky to strike at his master's target. Nominate a single enemy model within 18 inches. That model suffers a single strength 4 hit, AP 1. If the target suffers an unsaved wound, its weapon skill and initiative characteristics are reduced by D3 to a minimum of 1 for the remainder of the game. He steals their eye, you guys.
Yeah.
Pokes their eye right out.
Yeah. Fucking rips it right out.
Yeah.
His magic item is very powerful.
Yeah.
The Spear of Towson is an Azurai spear.
It's just a spear. It's just a spear with armor bane.
Literally.
Spear with armor bane, you guys.
And magical attacks.
Yeah.
Magical attacks. So he could fight the Green Knight and probably not wound him.
Probably.
Because he's only strength 4, AP 1.
Like no unlock. He's 170 points as well. Really, he's a very disappointing character. He doesn't do anything.
Nothing.
He's not extra good at fighting. He's not good at leadership. I mean,
Apart from like being better against screams, he doesn't offer his unit any significant buff for being taken. He just kind of adds up to like a sum 0, nothing. He adds up to absolutely nothing. It's really, really frustrating. How many more points is he over a standard Glade Lord?
35 points.
Yeah.
So
for 35 points, you get a 5-up ward.
Correct.
You get heavy armor.
And you get heavy armor. So you start with a 4-up armor instead of a 5-up.
Whoop-de-doo.
And you get Scar. I think the problem here, so like someone must have played against the Eye Thief once and just like had their fucking shit kicked in. Like every round,
nobody has eyes anymore.
Everybody lost their eyes. He assassinated 2 or 3 level 2s or something because the guy was an idiot and brought level 2s. Killed a BSB, oh my god, it's so.
It would be embarrassing if your BSB died to a hawk.
Yeah.
It would be.
No offense, Falcon.
No, it's none taken because Scarin should be better. Like a 1 or a 2, just make it fail on a 1, or just make it never fail because it's a single strength 4 hit, 18-inch range. The only benefit here is it's not a shooting attack, so they don't get a lookout, sir. But like everything else is garbage.
Yeah, when I first read this, I was like, oh, cool. On a 3+, it'll be a strength 4. On a 5+, it'll be like a strength 5 AP2 D3 wounds or something. On a 6, and maybe it gets better. There's nothing. It's just this is missing a whole another sentence on this rule. It sucks.
Yeah, it's not good.
He is the saddest part about this guy is the coolest thing about him is his bird.
Yeah, correct. All right. Peter, Wardens of Talzin, tell us a story.
Yeah, so this is the new character option that's only available in the Host of Talzin Army of Infamy. And it's kind of an in-between Glade Captains and Glade Lord. You get it kind of in the middle. So Warden is movement 5, weapon skill 7, ballistic skill 4, strength 4, tough 3, 3 wounds, which is very nice. Initiative 6, 4 attacks, leadership 9, and 125 points. So he's about 10 points less than a Glade Lord. Keeps the same amount of wounds, same weapon skill, loses on the ballistic skill. And he can take either an additional hand weapon, a great weapon or a shield. And unlike a Glade Lord or Glade Captain, he can take 75 points in magic items rather than 50 or 100. He comes with Close Order, Courage Beyond Compare, Drilled, Elven Reflexes, Immune to Psychology, Move Through Cover, Parry, which is a new rule, Strikes First, and Stubborn. So this is like a character that you're supposed to kind of slip into either your Internal Guard or the new version of Internal Guard we'll get to shortly. Courage Beyond Compare. If your Warden of Taliesin joins a unit of Guardians of Taliesin, that's the new unit for the host, that unit gains Immune to Psychology. Should this character leave that unit, they lose the rule. And Parry, this is a cool rule that I just wish more shit had, which is if you choose to fight with a hand weapon and shield or your spear and shield, you increase your armor value by 1. Which is awesome. It will bump you up to a 4-up armor save instead of like the base 5-up.
How good would it be if they just gave that rule to infantry? How good would that be?
It'd be good. I would like that more than what we currently have.
Yes.
My most important criticism here, and this goes along with the Army of Infamy. There's no mount options here, which of course is in keeping with the Army of Infamy, but that really limits what you can do with this guy.
Yep.
Yeah, you're basically just supposed to put him with Eternal Guard or the Guardians and like make them slightly better.
Yeah. Weirdly, if you run him by himself, he has Close Order.
That's pretty cute.
Yeah, but you can't take advantage of it, right? Because of his unit size. His unit.
Because you have to have 5 or more models. Yeah.
Yeah, they FAQ'd that, right? So
okay, that's right.
Pre-FAQ, there was kind of a cute thing there, maybe.
Yeah, okay, you're right.
All right, Guardians of Taliesin is up next. These are 18 points a pop. They come with Movement 5, Weapon Skill 5, Bliss Skill 4, Strength and Toughness 3, 1 Wound, 1 Initiative, 2 Attack Space, and Leadership 9. And then the Watchmaster has 1 extra attack. And that is it for 6 points per model, which is the same for the other. Sorry, it's 5 points for the Standard Bearer and Musician. They come with hand weapon, the spears, and light armor. They may take shields for 1 point. And then, they can take a magic standard up to 50 points, and a Watchmaster can purchase up to 50 points of magic items. They have Close Order, Drilled, Elven Reflexes, Martial Prowess, Move Through Cover, Parry, Stubborn, and Veteran. Martial Prowess is a unit with this special rule, can make supporting attacks to its flank or rear, as well to its front. So Seaguard is speaking to me right now. And then, of course, the Spear is a strength, user AP 1, fight an extra rank. And, of course, it's a spear, so I guess the usual spear goodness of initiative. And that is it for this guard unit. Danny, what do you think of him?
So, if you take a regular Eternal Guard and you make him cost 5 more points, what do you get? So,
Drilled?
You get Drilled, you get Stubborn, you get Veteran.
Eternal Guard already have Stubborn.
They already have Stubborn. Sorry.
So, and you can pay to have Drilled and Veteran.
And Parry. Because these guys get Parry, so they get
Parry
plus 1 armor save.
And the extra supporting attacks, of which you would need to take a larger size unit to get.
Well, Eternal Guard already get that.
Yeah, they
basically. So you can upgrade Eternal Guard to have all of these rules other than Parry.
We tried.
No, listen up. So just calm down. So because Eternal Guard can have Drilled and they can have Veteran for 2 more points. So this unit is, I think, 3 more points than Eternal Guard. If they have those upgrades for an extra attack and plus 1 weapon skill, which isn't bad for 3 points, right?
No,
and 1 more armor because they have they technically have the armor, the parry. The problem is they're not core, and Eternal Guard are. So you will just never run these guys ever.
Peter, the problem is that Eternal Guard costs 13 points a model already. Like, they're way too expensive for what they are.
Yeah, Eternal Guard already overcosted.
Yeah, look, like, these guys are cool. Their rules are cool. Like, I love the rules. I wish that these were the rules for a regular Eternal Guard, honestly. But, like, they still cost way too many points.
Yeah.
The way the game is currently played, like, this is not a usable unit.
But
it doesn't
cool unit.
It doesn't make any sense to be taken in Wood Elves as well. Like, you want to take as minimum like walking infantry in Wood Elves as physically possible, especially walking infantry that don't have a bow. Like, I see no reason to take a walk unless it's the best unit in my army. I'm never taking something that's on foot that doesn't have a bow in my Wood Elves. Does that make sense, boys?
I like war dancers, but I mostly agree with you.
Yeah, war dancers are kind of an exception. But yeah, I agree. But that part of that is just like the game doesn't support bricks, right?
Correct.
If the game supported bricks, these guys aren't terrible. 2 attacks each. Initiative 5, the first round of combat. If they get charged. Initiative 6, actually, because of the spear.
Yeah.
Like they're decent. It's just like the game does not. So you're never catching anybody. Everybody's just going to be faster than you, shooting you. And a 4-up armor save does nothing. And that 4-up is only in close combat. So like you're just a 5-up otherwise.
And when you are the fastest army in the game, without, double moves and all the shenanigans, withstanding, when you're the fastest army in the game, why would you give up that advantage to take a walking?
I agree.
And that's just literally how the game is played. Peter, Wood Elf Beast Packs.
Okay, here we go. This unit is kind of neat.
It's cool.
It should have been better, but someone is a coward. So Wood Elf Beast Packs, they're a little complicated. So the stat line is just for the Beast Keeper, which is a movement 5, weapon skill 4, ballistic skill 4, strength 3, tough 3, 1 wound, initiative 4, 1 attack, leadership 8, Wood Elf. He just has a hand weapon and light armor. And you can take as many of these dudes as you want. For each of these guys that you take, you can pick one of the following creatures and take a certain amount of them. The reason why these guys are cowards is they gave them Motley Crew. They gave them an extra special Motley Crew rule. And then they said you can't mix and match these animals. So whichever animal you pick, your whole army, your whole unit has to be that animal. Which is dumb because when I first read this and then I read the italicized text, I was so disappointed because in my head I was like, I'm going to have this really cool unit that's a mix of dogs and bears and cats. It's going to fucking rock because each one of these animals does have some cool special rules. The Beastkeepers themselves, like I said, they have Elven Reflexes, Motley Crew, Move Through Cover, Run with the Pack, which is their unique special rule, and Skirmishers. So this is a skirmishing unit, which is beautiful. Run with the Pack is that as long as there's at least one Beastkeeper in the unit is not undisciplined, so they don't suffer the War Beast penalties. And they do not fear models with flaming attacks, so they get to use your general's leadership. They get to do all the cool things that most beast packs don't get to do. In addition, a unit with a special rule uses the movement characteristic of the majority of the models in the unit. And that's why this could have been badass, because Deepwood Hounds, which are the first option at 8 points per model, and you can have 3 per Beastkeeper, are movement 9. And that's fucking fast. So Deepwood Hounds, they are movement 9, weapon skill 4, strength 3, tough 3, initiative 3, 1 attack each, 1 wound each, leadership 5, doesn't matter because you're going to have the beast guys, 8 points per model. So they're kind of like a Direwolf or a Chaos Warhound, except faster. And more importantly, they have Warband. So if your unit consists mostly of Deepwood Hounds, you are getting rerolls on your charges. That's badass. Even though they're not that great in combat, there are ways to buff them, especially if you consider that you can give them Furious Charge from the Wild Hunt detachment, or just Frenzy from Orion himself. That's great. If you want, you can pay 2 less points per model, so 6 points to get Cats instead. They have 2 less movement than the Deepwood Hounds. They're only movement 7. They don't have Warband. They are initiative 4, and they have Armor Bane on their attacks. Or you can choose to go down to movement 6 and take Sylvan Boars. They lose a pip of weapon skill. They're only weapon skill 3, but they're strength 4, toughness 4. They're movement 6, initiative 3. They're 11 points per model, which is a little steep, but they do get Razor Tusks, which means their attacks are at AP 1 instead of flat, and on a turn at which they charged. And they have Furious Charge, so they lose rerolls to hit, but they do get 2 attacks each on the charge, rerolls to charge, I should say. And lastly, you can have Bears. Bears are movement 5. They're slow bros. Weapon skill 4, strength 4, tough 4, 2 wounds, which is not bad. Initiative 3, 2 attacks each. Leadership 6 base. So if your beast keepers all die, they're not terrible. But they're 20 points, which when you compare them to, say, like a Saber Tusk, which is cheaper and has a better stat line, yeah, it's not incredible. The bears do have armored hide, so they come with a 6+ armor save, unlike all of the rest. They have cleaving blow, so they will ignore armor on some things. They do cause fear as well. And yeah, so all of these are skirmishers. This is kind of a cool unit, in my opinion. I did run when I tried the Wild Hunt list, I did have a unit of these guys. I just took like 6 Deepwood Hounds and 2 Beastkeepers.
Yeah.
And they're pretty cool because it's like a 70-point unit that's pretty fast. If you have a Rhine in your list and you pay the 10 points for Impetuous, which I didn't do, but like turning on Frenzy and then having them barrel down on something, it's not a terrible decision. Otherwise, they just kind of keep Orion from charging shit he doesn't want to. Yeah, it's good. Like you'll probably see these see play. They aren't available to the host of Taliesin. They are a special slot in the Wild Hunt detachment, and otherwise you can take them as a rare slot in Grand Army.
Danny boy, how do you think these should be built, and do you think what is the upside here?
So for me, I'm going to be paying 35 points for 3 Deepwood Hounds and 1 Beastkeeper. I feel like
that's a good option.
Yeah.
And
that's how I thought.
Yeah, and like taking them instead of Eagles because they're basically the same thing. And there's some versatility there. Like they're not as reliable, but I can get a whole ass unit for 35 points. So I really like that. I thought about like how ways I could utilize them with like the Furious Charge and like Impetuous. And I thought that the Bears wouldn't be terrible. Like, yeah, they're not as good as a Sabertusk, but they're also not as unreliable as Sabertusks are because they're going to be like either leadership 8 or if they're close to your general, whatever his leadership is, which is probably like 10.
Yeah.
So I like that part. And then I don't really care, but I'd have to, if I were going to take Bears, I'd take a big unit, like probably like 7 or 8 Bears.
It's so exy though. Man, I wish the Bears
it's expensive too because you can only take 1 bear per Beastkeeper, and all the rest you can take up to 3.
I wish that the Beastkeepers were not 11 points a model. I think
me too.
Yeah.
Like they're a tax. The Beastkeeper is a tax that you already pay for, expensive units. It's 31 points to just take 1 bear with 1 keeper.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's a little pricey.
I was really excited before I read the italicized text, which by the way, GW, once again, stop. Don't put lore in italicized text for these units and then be like, also here's a rule beside that lore that's also italicized for no reason. Just don't. Please stop it. It gets confusing. We don't need this in our lives. I really wished you could mix and match because in my head I was like, dude, I'll take 2 bears and 2 Beastkeepers, and then I'll take like 2 Beastkeepers with 6 Hounds. And now everything's movement 9.
Yeah.
Like that's fucking sick.
You just have a bear delivery system. Like that's how I thought of it when I first saw it. I'm like, what's the cheapest thing I can do to get enough hounds to deliver the bears? And then I was like, oh wait, I can't even. Piss off,
not allowed to do that.
Piss off. But yeah. All right.
And also the pack that they're selling for these guys. Did you guys see it?
Yeah.
No.
It's like 3 handlers and then 3 of each beast and 1 bear, or like 4 handlers. So it's like 1 of everything, but you can't actually use that. You can only use each of those individually.
Yeah, it's
Dum.
Well, it's because it's a pack from 3rd edition, and in 3rd edition, that's how you ran them. It wasn't like this. So yeah, that's what you got. Anyway, this next thing is actually very good.
Very good.
All right. Wood Elf Kindreds. To represent this, some characters may belong to either an Alter Kindred or a Noble Kindred. A character can't belong to both. Belonging to a Kindred gives the character access to certain benefits as detailed in the following pages. The benefits of a Kindred, be it Alter or Noble, do not apply to the model's mount should it have one. All right, Alter Kindreds. Wood Elf Nobles and Mages only. A character that does not belong to a Noble Kindred may belong to an Alter Kindred. A character that does may select one of the following aspects when writing your muster list. However, units that have been joined by a character with one of the following aspects cannot use that character's leadership. All right. Jumping into the first of the bunch, Aspect of the Hound for 20 points. A character who adopts the Aspect of the Hound and any unit they have joined may re-roll any rolls to hit of a natural 1 during the combat phase. Not freaking bad. Aspect of the Bear, 15 points. Infantry or cavalry only. A character who adopts the Aspect of the Bear increases their strength and toughness by 1. Oof. An Aspect of the Boar, 10 points. A character who adopts the Aspect of the Boar improves the AP characteristic of weapons by 1 during a turn in which it charged and gains the impact hits 1 special rule. And then Aspect of the Cat for 10 points. A character who adopts the Aspect of Cat gains armor band 1 special rule and may re-roll any fail to hit rolls during a challenge. Oh my god, all those are good.
Yep. Like the Aspect of the Hound is even good on like a Dragon Lord.
It is. Dude, they're all bangers.
Yeah, like every one of these is great.
Yeah, like Aspect of the Hound, awesome. Like if you want to slip it onto what I was doing with it is I put it on a Spellweaver and then put that on a Unicorn in a unit of Wild Riders. And now you keep your counter charge and you still get rerolls of 1 to hit on the Wild Riders. So you just like never have a bad combat phase with them, which is awesome. Like Danny said, also great on a dragon or any kind of lord. Yeah. Aspect of the Bear, if you're looking to do stag party, having like 3 or 4 Aspect of the Bear dudes, so they're strength 5, toughness 5, not terrible. Aspect of the Boar is even good. Like there's a potential build here between the core book and this book where you could like have a stag captain with like 5 impact hits on the charge.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool, kind of cute. And Aspect of the Cat's also great on the Dragon Lord since you kind of always want to be in a challenge with him anyway. So getting full rerolls to hit is aces at only 10 points. Yeah, the Kindreds are awesome. It's just about like fitting the points into your list more than anything. And the downside is very minimal.
Exactly right. The downside is this is exactly how I want these things to be. Moving on, Danny, give us all of the noble Kindreds.
So noble Kindreds, Wood Elf Nobles and Mages only. You can join this if you're not part of an Ultra Kindred. There's no disadvantage to this as far as like for the Ultra Kindred where you can't use the leadership if you join the squad. So the first one is Glamour Weave Kindred, which is 25 points. This is for Wood Elf Mages only. They get a 5-up ward and gains the Tree Spirit special role, which is pretty nice. You can join Tree Spirit squads. Then you have Eternal Kindred for 20 points, infantry only. A character that belongs to the Eternal Kindred and any unit they may have joined can reroll to hit rolls of natural 1 during the combat phase. In addition, a character belonging to the Eternal Kindred, any unit they have joined may reroll failed wound rolls during the combat phase within 6 inches of a special feature.
Gosh darn it.
Cool.
If that came up, that would be really good.
Full rerolls to wound is incredible on anything. Yes. Unfortunately, that rider makes it kind of sad.
Yeah. And then we have Wild Rider Kindred for 20 points. Wood Elf Nobles only.
This is so good.
A character belonging to Wild Rider Kindred must be mounted on Elven Steed or Great Stag and can only wear light armor. In addition, they gain the Countercharge, Frenzy, Furious Charge, and Talismanic Tattoo special rules for 20 points.
That's like 30 points of value easily.
Yeah.
Oh, more than that for sure.
Easy.
Like it's
a ward save as well. Yeah, shit.
Right. Yeah, it's very good.
Like, it's like you get like a Glade Captain or a Glade Lord on a Stag, and you give him this, and now your Wild Riders don't lose Countercharge, and you get all these other abilities.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's awesome. Such a good rule. Anyway.
And then Scout Kindred for 15 points, infantry only. You get Quick Shot and Scout special rules, which is fine for 15 points.
Yep.
Dang. Okay, so the Kindreds, I mean, we said this at the start, the Kindreds and the magic lore are pretty much the best 2 parts of it, and now you guys understand why. You get to just fit for purpose your characters to a level that most other armies can't, which is good because if they're not a Dragon Lord, you've got like 2 wounds and no saves. You do want them to be very good at something that they do because chances are they get to do it once. But yeah, these are excellent. What do we think of the pick of the Noble Kindreds? Apart from obviously the Wild Rider one.
Yeah, I think Eternal Kindred is good if you want to be on foot for whatever reason. But otherwise, yeah, I don't know. Glamour Weave is going to be really situational.
Yeah.
Like there's a world where you can put because the Unicorn's a monstrous beast, right? Or sorry, it's Monstrous Cavalry.
Monstrous Cavalry.
Yeah.
So you can join her to a unit of treekin. So if there's a way that you can leverage items and stuff like that, that would be useful. I don't know that that's good. And Scout Kindred's like fine if you want to have a scouting character. You maybe just take away Stalker though. Like,
yeah. The other thing about Glamour Weave, at least, is like also if you run your mages solo, it's a cheaper talisman of protection.
Exactly right. That's what I was
And
thinking about it.
And it's the other thing about these, like that you might like we kind of overlooked is like you can take the same kindred multiple times.
Correct.
So, like you can have multiple Wild Riders or multiple Aspect of the Hound people units in your army. There's no. It's like ogre big names in that regard, where you can have as many of them as you want. As the same guy just can't have more than one. So
yeah. I rate the Kindreds. I rate them so freaking highly, and the fact that I think they're possibly the biggest buff to the Grand Army coming out of this.
Oh yeah,
I think they are superb. But let's go to the next most superb part. Peter. Danny just gave us those Kindreds. Peter, you get to give us the magic lore. Give us the whole shebang-a-bang.
Oh, this is so the lore of the wilds. I'm going to read this to you. The denizens of Athel Loren have long drawn upon the winds of magic to tend to their homeland in its defense. There's a bunch of other words, but basically, you fucking rock.
At being in the woods.
At being in the woods and casting spells. So, Dickie's going to be so mad at me. I've sworn so many times this episode after saying I would stop. So, Magic of the Forest. The signature spell for Lore of the Wilds is Swirling Mists. It's an enchantment spell. It's range self, which is awesome. It's only cast on an 8+. And this is very situational, but in the current meta, it's absolutely incredible. Until your next start of turn subphase, any enemy model that directs a shooting attack at the caster or any unit that it has joined must reroll any rolls to hit of a natural 6. So with the plethora of poison out there, big giant poison blobs, being able to slip this into like your own big blob of Glade Guard or something and say, hell no, I'm going to do it better than you. Aces. Great signature spell, if only situational, but that's what you want. Now we go into the rest of the lore. The Fury of Athel Loren, this is your magic missile. It's cast on a 10+. It is an 18-inch range. Target enemy unit suffers D3 +1 strength 6 hits that are AP -2 and multiple wounds 2. Awesome.
One of the best in the game.
Wow.
Yeah. Next up, Ariel's Blessing, and another enchantment, casting value of 9+, only a 10-inch range, but until your next start of turn subphase, the target friendly unit gains regeneration 5+. Awesome.
Amazing.
Very good.
Spiteful Torrent, this is your Vortex. This is the one shit spell. Just don't roll it. Don't roll a 3 and you're okay. Casting value 10+, range 15 inches. And it's not even that terrible, but remains in play. It's a small 3-inch blast template that you place at central hole within 15 inches of the caster. While in play, the template is dangerous terrain. It moves D6 inches in a random direction every start of turn. And any enemy unit that the moving template touches or moves over suffers 3d6 strength 2 hits with an AP of 1. So it's okay. It's fine. It's sometimes it'll do stuff if you have to use it, but I wish it was better. Next up, though, this thing is incredible. I love it. Durthu's Wrath. This is your assailment spell. It's cast on a 10+, range combat, of course. Each model in the opponent's fighting rank that the enemy caster is engaged with must immediately take an initiative test. Every model that fails this test suffers D3 strength 4 hits with no armor saves permitted.
Wowie.
Nice.
So good into line hammer, so good into big like skeleton archer blobs and stuff. Into stuff like dwarves, you're killing like 2/3 of the front rank easily. Beautiful. Love it. Durthu, thank you for coming back to us in your chat. Next is Hidden Pathways. This is the conveyance spell, cast on an 8+, so a little easier. 12-inch range. Until your next start of turn subphase, target friendly unit gains reserve move and may perform a quick turn, even if it would not normally be able to do so. There's some pretty cool tricks you can do with this, especially if you're running like a a big unit of Glade Guard, let's say, or something like that, where you can get like a ton of movement off for free.
I'm a big fan of this one because it's not just like a second move like so many other conveyance spells. This is janky spice, and I'm a huge fan. I wish they were more like this and less like, lol, I move twice.
Yeah.
No, it's cool. And then lastly, Sapping Blight. So this is your Hex cast on a 9+, only a 12-inch range, so you got to get pretty close. But until your next start of turn subphase, target enemy unit suffers -D3 to its strength. And the spell may be cast on an enemy unit that is in combat. Lastly, this is one of those ones where if you cast the spell successfully, any other hexes that are currently on that unit immediately expire. So you got to pop this one on first before you do any others. Still an amazing spell, especially because you can do it into combat.
This lore has it all. As far as I'm concerned, it ticks every single one of the boxes for me. Quality magic missile, quality buff, as in defensive buff in the regen, quality jank and kind of logistical activator in the conveyance spell with the hidden pathways, quality just like assailment that's just going to terrify Linehammer players, and then a quality debuff. Like, it actually is just good, and then it has freaking poison protection in the signature spell. Oh man, so you just. Oh, cool. I'm playing against the poison brick. I guess I'm just auto taking the 6 spell for one of my rolls. And you're very happy about it. And now your Dragon Lord doesn't have to be afraid.
Well, your Dragon Lord does, because it's a self spell.
That's true. Sorry, apologies. Forgot about that. But
if it wasn't self, it would be even better. But
it'd be broken. It would save the game. It would save the game, Peter.
Okay,
save us. It would save us.
Just savor it, yeah. So what a good lore. It fills a lot of gaps what else have problems with, or enhances things that they're already good at. So I think it really makes it's in a good place. Fury of Athaloran specifically is like, oh cool, something to deal with big stuff. I really like that. High strength, and then Ariel's Blessing giving a 5+ regen to a unit, just unreal. And that assailment is so good.
Yeah. I mean, so there is a package here, and I was already talking about this a couple of days ago, where you try and take your double level 4s, one with elementalism, one with this, and you just start machine gunning with Wind Blast, a Ruby Ring of Ruin, and Fury of Athaloran, and you just start blowing people off the table. And you've got with those 3 magic missiles, you've kind of got a missile for whichever opponent you're up against.
I will say, like, just that both of those lores, they synergize well across the board, not just really for those reasons.
Exactly.
Like, that was what I was doing in my practice games when I was running Orion, was Orion, and then a level 4 Elementalism, which I would take Lore Familiar on, just to make sure I got the spells I wanted, and then I would take a level 4 of this and just hope for the best. Because, like, even comboing TMP with hidden pathways is cool.
Yeah, dude.
Because you can TMP and then reserve move after, which is awesome. Comboing Ariel's Blessing with the 5-up word save is awesome on a unit, just to like make them barely nigh unkillable at times. Sapping Blight works amazing with Plague of Rust, because you Plague of Rust the unit first. You Sapping Blight them first, and then you Plague of Rust them, even if they're in combat. So even if like you're really, you're not so scary brick gets charged, all of a sudden they're -2 armor save and -D3 strength, and now your Glade Guard are winning a combat and stuff like that.
Right.
Like it's they complement each other so much. It's such a good lore, and I love that they complement each other, because they're the you know what I'm trying to say. The
headcanon is good.
Yeah.
All right, let's go into those magic items. We're going to hit a rhythm. It's going to be me, then Danny, then Peter. We're going to stick to that. No deviation. And I shouldn't.
We could just say like almost all of these are bad, but anyway,
we are completionists here.
Well,
I feel like they are, but
I feel like they're relatively bad. All right, first up is Vol's Wrath, 55 points. It is range 32, strength +1, AP 2, flaming attacks, magical attacks, multiple wounds 2. Once per game, unless the wielder moved during the previous movement phase, Vol's Wrath can be shot like a bolt thrower with the through and through special rule. Lol, 55 points for the privilege. Moving on.
It shouldn't be once per game. You should just be able to do it every turn. Anyway.
For 55 points every freaking turn. Shoot it twice a turn.
5 shot, yeah.
Twice a turn every turn, 55 points. Shit.
That might be much, but like, yeah, it should definitely not have been a once per game thing. It's
Terrible.
It's stupid. Get out of here, GW.
Absolutely
Moving on.
terrible.
All right, then we have Daith's Reaper. It's 45 points. It's a close combat weapon. It's +1 strength, -1 AP with magic attacks. And enemy models must reroll any successful armor saves against wounds caused by this weapon. That's not a lot for 40 points. Reroll successful saves is cool, but not like this.
Make it a great
Especially-
weapon. Make it a freaking great weapon. 40 points.
Because elves are strength 4 at best. So now you're a strength 5 punching. Yeah. Stop it.
Yeah. If it was a great weapon profile, I'd be down with this for 40 points.
Huntmaster's Pride. This could have been something, but it's not. Huntmaster's Pride is combat weapon, strength user, AP 2, multiple wounds 2, which you'd think would be great, but elves are strength 4, tops. And this can only be taken in the Wild Hunt army. And the multiple wounds 2 only can be used against monstrous infantry, monstrous cavalry, monstrous creatures, and behemoths. You can't do it on just regular characters.
Die.
Why are we adding all this extra stuff, GW? There's a 25-point magic weapon that does this without all those caveats.
Correct.
Why do I pay more for this?
Blades of Endless Flame for 25 points. Oh boy, I bet you it's a combat weapon with flaming attacks. Oh wait, it is. Combat strength user AP 1, extra attack 1's flaming attacks, magical attacks. Jesus, sweet mother of mercy. Give me something here for 25 points.
So
you get 1 attack and AP 1 on your attacks for 25 points.
So my babies, listen to me now. Do not take any of these. If you love me, do not take any. If you took Vol's Wrath, I wouldn't be super upset with you, but I would be like, I would give a stern look. I would give such a stern look that you put this on a Glade Lord for no reason. And the rest are.
Can you combat these as magic arrows? No, right?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Danny, you're up on the magic armors.
So we have Mantle of Rebirth for 40 points. It's a suit of light armor that gives you regen 5+.
That's great.
Yep. It is. Yeah.
This is genuinely really good on the Wild Rider Lord because you can only wear light armor.
Mm-hmm.
So love that.
And you take it on your Stag Lord with the Wild Hunt enhancement thingy doodle.
Yeah.
Stuff thingy.
Danny was saying.
God, okay. Apologies.
He's good. He gets a lot of buffs. He gets a 5-up regen, a 6-up ward. He's cool. Do that. Cloak of Tumbling Leaves, 30 points. Model whose troop type is regular infantry or heavy infantry only. You get Fly 10 and Swift Stride. However, that wearer can never join a unit.
So he's dead.
And it's counted as light armor. So you do get a 6. So you can't put it on a wizard either unless you want to stop casting spells.
Shit.
This is cool on a character with Scout.
Yeah.
That's true.
Pay the 15 points for the Scout quick shot and this. Live your best life.
Yeah. Go tie up their anvil turn 1. Go kill their best war machine turn 1. Yeah.
Give him an Ogre Blade in this. You will have no saves.
Give him this in the Ogre Blade and Scout. Yeah. You're going to love
it. Apologies, you Scout. You aren't charging anything turn 1. Apologies.
No, but turn 2, you're a menace.
Oh, boy. They're in a world of hurt. Let's hope they don't have that ruby ring. Oh, jeez, I'm dead. All right. Talismans, Ariel's Favor for 30 points. Magic Res 2.
It's good.
Hell yeah.
Cool. That's not
bad. I wish it was 25, but I'll take 30.
Yeah.
Then we have Orion's Favor for 25 points, single use. The bearer of Orion's Favor can reroll any failed to hit or wound rolls made during the combat phase.
This is cute.
Yeah,
it is. Don't mind it.
What I like this on actually is if you're going to take it like on a Shadow Dancer because they can have Killing Blow. And then now you're kind of up in your odds of blowing something. I wish it was extremely common, like the Paymaster's coin, because then at least you would be like, oh, cool, I get like a better Paymaster's coin.
Can you take this and Cloak of Tumbling Leaves?
Um,
On like a Glade Lord, you could.
Yeah.
Oh, because the Shadow Dancer is only 50 points, right?
Yeah.
What if you did Cloak of Tumbling Leaves, Orion's Favor, and the Monster Slayer Sword? And
I love that, Adam.
doesn't fit for 100 points, right? It's too much.
It's 105. They intentionally did that too. They
Balls.
We don't want a Monster Slayer that can fly. with a 6+ armor save.
Darn, I'm just gonna have to put him on a freaking Great Eagle. What?
Yeah. Yeah, you are.
Okay. Magic standards. Who are we at? Is it me? Tapestry of Taliesin. 80 point. This is an 80-point standard, so you know it's going to be good.
Well,
so this can only be taken in the host of Taliesin Army of Infamy. Okay, guys? Only so you know it has to be good, because not only is it 80 points, it's limited to the worst Army of Infamy potentially in the game.
This build-up has been excellent, by the way, Peter.
A model carrying the Tapestry of Taliesin has a command range of 18 inches. That's great.
nice.
In addition, friendly units within the bear's command range get +1 leadership.
Oh boy, I'm so happy I spent 80 points on this.
Yeah, because like you're almost always leadership 10.
Correct.
Because you're elves. Maybe you're leadership 9 if you're a wild man. But yeah, it's don't take this.
Wow, how they costed that. I would have not taken it at 40 points. Literally half the cost, I wouldn't have taken it.
Like an 18-inch command range for a battle standard bearer.
It's cute. It's cute. It is.
Is there anything?
80. Shit.
Is there anything else that's command range for wood elves that you would be like, I really need that to be 18 inches? Probably not. It's not too.
I don't think so.
Orion's Frenzy.
Okay. Banner of the Wild Hunt. Adam, what is this?
It's 25 points. Banner of the Wild Hunt may be taken by an Orion's Wild Hunt Army of Infamy, of course. When calculating its combat res, a unit carrying the Banner of the Wild Hunt may claim an additional +1. In addition, it may re-roll pursuit rolls. I do not mind this. I think this is quite good. Yeah. +1 combat res can get you over the line in a bunch of iffy combats, and you will find it when you're playing Wild Riders. There's stuff Wild Riders smash, and then the stuff Wild Riders like, maybe I'll smash. And +1 combat res isn't bad, and then you just run people down all the better, which I like a lot.
This also does open up like a potential like Wild Rider Death Star, where you take like a BSB with this and then a regular War Banner on your Wild Riders, and now you've got an extra 2 combat res. So you're now sitting at like static 4 before ranks, which isn't terrible, right? So
yeah,
if I were playing that army, that is what I would want to play, is a giant like brick of Wild Riders with stag lords inside or whatever.
Yeah. I think that's a good way to play it if you're not doing the like what I mentioned earlier, the shitty way, the really boring, annoying way.
Danny
yeah.
Boy.
All right, so next we have the standard of Morning's Chill. 25 points. The banner, you bound level to what is it? Swirling Mists. So this is the reroll 6's signature spell from Lore of the Wilds. Yeah, that's a banner you can take. I don't think it's terrible. I don't think it's great.
Yeah. If you're like, if all you ever play against is the big poison bricks and you know that's all you're ever going to play against, like what I like this would be is like if you're in a team's environment and like that's what you have to build, is like they're like, you're going to have to play every fucking Tomb Kings player, which is awful for Wood Elves. But if they were like, this is your goal now, then you take this. And then lastly, the Banner of the Springtide. And now this is actually a good banner that you should take. It's 20 points, and a unit carrying the Banner of the Springtide gets quick shot.
More of this, more of that one.
That's a good
just quick shot. Well, it's great.
Yeah, it's fantastic. All right. Enchanted items, Crown of Antlers. The Crown of Antlers gives its wearer Armor Bane 1 and impact hits D3 special rules. The impact hits are at AP 2. It's actually pretty spicy.
Yeah. It's fun. Like, it's not competitive, I don't think. But
no,
if you want to run like a Stag Captain or Stag Lord and get them up to like potentially 5 impact hits, it's funny.
It is funny. It is funny. They have more impact hits than like my Stonehorn on average, which is real hilarious. What's next, Danny?
All right, so we got Moonstone in the Hidden Ways for 30 points, single use. It lets you use the Forest Walker spell from the Lore of Athel Loren as a bound spell, power level 3. So this is the teleport, like woods to woods.
Yeah, never take this, guys.
Yep.
Never.
Never take this.
Hard agree.
Single use. Why?
Yep.
Who hurt you? Who wrote this book and was like,
how many woods are on the table?
You forest walked the shit out of me today.
Possibly.
I'm never letting you do it again. But just
with the one that you bring, possibly 2 woods.
What is happening? Okay.
Yep.
Blight tipped arrows, 15 points. This is an extremely common item. Although, for whatever reason, my copy of the book, the extremely common item asterisk, is very tiny.
Very tiny. Yeah.
Single use. Models with an Azrai longbow only. You can't use a blow dart or anything for this. It fired as normal from your bearer's longbow. If an enemy model suffers an unsaved wound from a blight-tipped arrow at the beginning of each subsequent start of turn subphase, that model must take an initiative test. A toughness test. If the test is failed, the model immediately takes a single wound with no armor or regen saves permitted.
I don't hate this. I don't know how to use it though, but I don't hate it.
I don't know how to use it either, dude. Like, it's okay. So here's the problem: is like you can't pick out special characters from units, except if you're a Way Watcher and a Waystalker, and the Waystalker, they still get a lookout serve from them. So you have to get past a 2-up for this to be worth it. In most, if you're trying to pick off a character, at least. And then you actually have to wound. The wound has to go through. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. The one sorry, go ahead.
Are you taking this instead of your regular longbow upgrades, like your poison, your yada yada yada?
I believe so.
I mean, you don't get to use the magic arrow with another arrow.
Yeah, correct.
So I think here's the jank that someone's going to do. And it's not going to work. But man, if it worked, it would be hilarious. Because I think this stacks. So you could take like 3 of these and then on a Glade Lord and then take the bow that lets you make 3 shots in a turn.
Shot. Yeah.
And then just shoot 3 of them at a guy and like a dragon or something and be like, fucking go.
Yeah, you plague of rust before you shoot it. Yep. You triple pop it, and then you're like, one of these goes
the wound.
Yeah.
And then if these all go through, man, by the end of the game, you will have taken 4 wounds from this. Anyway, it's not good. It's. I want it to be good.
Me too.
If they hadn't ruled that Waystalkers got the lookouts, you got the lookouts from Waystalkers, I could see this being kind of cool.
Yeah, sure. Like to kill a hero.
Yeah.
And I mean, at least the Waystalker's strength 4.
Exactly.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Arcane items. It's your turn, Adam.
Oh, Orb of Midsummer, 35 points. Once per turn, the bearer of the Orb of Midsummer may re-roll the casting roll. Not freaking bad.
Yeah, that's totally good.
There's already one in the Wood Elf book for 30 points that you have to be beside a wood to use. So this one is decent.
5 points, but liberating.
Mm-hmm.
The Heartwood Pendant is next. This is another extremely common magic item for another 15 points. In addition to Lords of Magic, you can also take Lore of the Wild spells. So if you want to pay 15 points, you can take Lore of the Wild in any army.
It's good. You should do that.
Yeah. Not bad.
Well, you should do it if you're doing like a double wizard.
The double wolf,
scenario. Yeah.
All right, last one, Peter.
The Sigil of the Mage Queen, 25 points. Upon the eve of battle, Ariel, beloved queen of Athaloran, infuses arcane vessels with the measure of her power. These tokens she gives to her most favored mages. This is a single use, and the bearer may use it before they make a casting roll. If you do, you get to add +2 to that casting roll.
Really wish this was common. I wish this was extremely common.
Yeah, it's kind of.
What was that voice? Was that Schwarzenegger and Elvin Schwarzenegger?
It was whatever came to my mind in that moment.
We almost made it, people. We almost made it through a whole magic item section with Peter forgetting to read the italics. Almost.
I didn't forget. I wanted to do something special for my babies.
He says that now. After forgetting. But that is the end.
People don't always remember that.
That is the end of the Arcane Journal review. In totality, boys, and on our rating system, first up, I'll start with you, Danny. Out of 10, you as a Wood Elf player, Wood Elf enjoyer, how would you rate this Arcane Journal?
7.
That's way higher than I thought I was going to hear out of your mouth.
All right. I don't like the Armies of Infamy, but Kindreds, the magic lore, there's a couple of good magic items. I'm pretty happy with that. I wish that the special units were cooler. And we did get Orion, and Orion is really cool. So Mostly I'm happy. I just like if the Armies of Infamy were better, like this would be 10 out of 10 for me. Or at least 9 out of 10, I would say.
Yeah. I'd give it a 6. I'm mostly with Danny. I think I 100% agree with Danny. I'm just more disappointed in the Armies of Infamy. Like I before we did the review together, I probably would have given it a 4, even though I do love the lore. But then in rereading the lore and rereading everything, I'm like, you know what? It's better than my brain was giving it. I was just so disappointed in those Armies of Infamy. So.
Yeah. Well, so I'm even harsh on all of you guys. I'm giving it a 5. It gets a pass mark for Orion being good. That's literally, I put it above a 5 because Orion is a baller and takeable, which I think is the best thing this book could have done, pretty much. Armies of Infamy and everything else would have been absolute bonus. But it's got 3 good sections. One of those is literally just Orion, is a good section. The Magic Lore is a fantastic section, and then the army upgrades. The little bits and pieces, the widgety woos, the kindreds. Yeah, the kindreds. Actually, so there's 3 banger portions of this book, and the rest of it is mediocre AF. And this is some of the worst Armies of Infamy we've yet seen, which is a bit rough. As for how good we think the best players in the world playing this army at the highest level possible, which most likely will be a grand army using these new things added into it. Where do we think Wood Elves are in the competitive, kind of tier list, that being competitive, semi-competitive, uncompetitive?
I think I think Wood Elves are competitive still.
Yep.
But I think it requires a very specific way to play, and you have to have an extremely good game plan into Death Star units.
Yeah. I think right now, I know a lot of people would say Wood Elves from the non-legacy faction perspective are probably the worst of the factions after the Sisters of the Thorn nerf, mainly because they have a shit game into Death Stars. I think I would say they're semi-competitive now, because I think there's a build now mainly by just going all in on a giant unit of Glade Guard where you just do a Death Star that's not quite as good as Mortuary Cults, but because of the new lore, you might pull off a win by just shutting down all their shit. It's hard to say though. It's a rough scene for Wood Elf players right now. And I don't know if this gives them enough. Maybe that lore is enough though. So.
Yeah, I see the lore is the thing. Literally, that signature spell is the only thing I see that is going to enhance their current win percentage by any meaningful degree. There's nothing here that's going to juice them up. Their killing ability didn't get dramatically better. Their resilience didn't get dramatically better. Their ability to be faster than everybody else is still exactly the same. So what actually changed? Well, their ability to not get one shot by poison armies, by armies wielding poison, is pretty much the only thing that I think changed in a lot of the top tier competitive builds. And so, I think that makes them better. Does it make them dramatically better? No. So it doesn't. So they're if they're just on the cusp of competitive is my opinion, because they got a little better into the things that they were awful against, at least meaningfully, because you can stay out of dispel range, put the signature spell up, and then reserve move, and then walk yourself into range. Pop them harder than they're going to pop you, because their 6s don't count. Is pretty much the way I see it. So they're getting a little bit of agency back. But that is going to finish us up for this episode. We're going to go over and record part 2, where we're going to talk about some of the lists, some of the builds, some of the matchups. And then we're actually going to just talk about how we think this Arcane Journal ranks up against its contemporaries. Is this the worst one we've seen? Is it the second or the third? I definitely don't think it's the best we've seen. So we'll see how it rolls out from there. But if you want to join us at all, come over to That Old World Charm over on Patreon and get that goodness. Boys, say your good nights.
Bye-bye.
You've been listening to That Old World Charm with those charming chaps, Adam, Danny, and Peter the Falcon. Thanks ever so much. Cheerio.